Trump blinked first. After months of fiery speeches, threats of sky-high tariffs, and art of the deal posturing, guess who's quietly trying to get Beijing on the phone? Yep, the same guy who told the world China needs to call him. Turns out, Washington is the one dialing. According to a Chinese state-linked media outlet, the Trump administration has been reaching out through various channels, trying to start talks on the massive tariffs it slapped on China. Now here's the kicker. This info isn't coming from some backroom gossip, it's coming straight from a Weibo account tied to China Central Television. That's basically Beijing's loudspeaker when it wants the world to read between the lines. The Trump team's line has always been, "We're strong, we're patient, China's hurting more," but behind the curtain, Washington is looking more like the party sweating bullets. Let's rewind a bit. Trump stood in front of his cabinet just this week and said China's hurting. He pointed to a drop in cargo shipments as proof they'd soon come crawling. But if that's true, why is the US making the first move? And why is Beijing telling the world that it's not interested in talking until Washington makes meaningful changes? Think about it. Trump's tariffs, some as high as 145%, were supposed to pressure China. But here's what really happened. First, there was a massive surge in imports before the tariffs hit, like people raiding a supermarket before a hurricane. Then, bam, the US economy actually contracted at the start of the year. First time that's happened since 2022. Consumer spending dipped, and now American shoppers are shelling out more for everything from electronics to toys. So who's actually paying the price here? It's not China, it's the guy trying to buy a new phone on Amazon and wondering why it suddenly costs $100 more. And despite Trump's confident it'll happen when asked if she will call him, Beijing's message is clear. We're not desperate, you are. Even Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent tried to keep the pressure on China by saying they need to de-escalate. But if your house is on fire, telling the neighbor to bring the hose isn't a winning strategy. This whole drama paints a very different picture from what the headlines often show. On the surface, tough talk, high tariffs, and America calling the shots. Underneath economic pain, rising prices, and a quiet scramble to reopen dialogue without looking like you blinked first. Bottom line, the US tried to strong-arm China, but now it's quietly asking for a seat at the table, and China's acting like it can take or leave the invitation. All of this comes after the fact that Chinese e-commerce exports to the US dropped by a staggering 65% in the past 3 months. So if you're wondering why your $18 summer dress now costs $45, you're not alone. Chinese e-commerce giants like Temu and Shein are getting hammered. And guess what? It's not just their problem anymore. In just 3 months, Chinese e-commerce exports to the US crashed by 65%. That's not a typo, 65%. Why? Because the US slapped brutal new tariffs on imports, and fast fashion platforms that once flooded your social media feed with $3 sunglasses and $5 leggings are suddenly stuck with a massive bill. Let's break it down. Temu and Shein, two of the most viral online shops, used to ship dirt-cheap goods straight from Chinese factories to your front door. No middlemen, no warehouse overhead, no import taxes if the package was under $800. It was a loophole, and they worked it like pros. Then came the trade war 2.0. Trump's move to kill the $800 tax exemption lit the match. Now, Chinese sellers have to tack on huge import charges, and we're not talking pennies. Bloomberg found that the average price of toys, games, and beauty items on Temu jumped over 40% in 2 weeks. A $12 swimsuit for your kid, now $31. That handheld vacuum you wanted, from $17 to over $40. And while consumers cry at checkout, Temu's passing on nearly all those import taxes directly to the American public. Even Shein, once the queen of $7 dresses, is scrambling. It's reportedly planning to move production out of China just to dodge the tariffs. That's not a pivot, it's a full-on cartwheel. And here's where things get weird. Europe's loving it. While exports to the United States have nosedived, Chinese e-commerce sales to the European Union jumped 28%. It's like they're saying, okay, America, you don't want our stuff? Cool, we'll just sell it to your neighbor. That's right, Chinese e-commerce exports to Europe have experienced a notable increase. In the first quarter of 2025, exports to the EU rose by 28%, as platforms like Temu and Shein shifted their focus to European markets in response to punitive U.S. tariffs of up to 145% on Chinese goods. This strategic pivot reflects a broader trend of Chinese retailers seeking alternative markets to mitigate the impact of U.S. trade policies. Europe's strong purchasing power and growing demand for affordable products make it an attractive destination for Chinese e-commerce platforms. However, this surge in imports has also prompted increased scrutiny from European regulators, who are concerned about product safety, unfair competition, and environmental impacts associated with the influx of low-value goods. Despite these challenges, the resilience of China-EU trade relations underscores the adaptability of Chinese exporters in navigating complex global trade dynamics. Now, don't get it twisted. This isn't just about fashion. It's about how trade policy can hit your wallet harder than inflation ever could. You may think tariffs punish foreign businesses. Sometimes they just punish you at the checkout screen. And the political drama? Oh, it's spicy. China's government released a video straight up calling Trump a bully and said it wouldn't kneel down. Amazon, caught in the crossfire, considered showing customers exactly how much tariffs add to their orders, until a call from Trump apparently changed their mind. According to Trump, Jeff Bezos was a very nice, terrific guy. Sure. This also comes after news of shipping and imports being down dramatically. The Port of Los Angeles is experiencing a significant downturn in shipping activity, primarily due to the escalating U.S.-China trade war. With the recent imposition of a 145% tariff on Chinese goods, the port anticipates a 35% reduction in shipments from China, a country that accounts for approximately 45% of its business. This decline is expected to result in the cancellation of about a quarter of scheduled ship arrivals in May, leading to potential job losses in transportation and retail sectors, inventory shortages, and increased consumer prices. Port Executive Director Gene Soroka has expressed concerns over the far-reaching effects of the trade war, noting that decreased cargo volumes directly impact employment and economic activity. As the situation unfolds, the port and its stakeholders are bracing for continued challenges in the global supply chain. But all jokes aside, this trade war isn't just a headline. It's reshaping what you can afford, where your stuff comes from, and how much longer that free shipping dream will last. If you think this is the end of the story, think again. Hit that like and subscribe button and check out some of our other videos.